what is going on, folks who will be joining us after the live stream. Again, for those who want to come talk to me on the live stream, please join my Discord. It is in my description down below. It's in my description in my YouTube channel. I'm also going to tag it in the comments as well. But, again, for anyone who does miss my streams, I stream probably every 2 days. Jesus, let me get over here. I stream every 2 days. I didn't stream for a little bit because I did have some family coming to town, and I wanted to make sure that whoever wanted to watch my streams would be available. And so I know we had the Christian holidays coming up, or the holiday come up. So I wanted to, I wanted to have my platform be available for anyone who wants to come discuss, since I've gotten a lot of great and heinous comments from most of you. So that's been funny. I'm super excited to, again, chat with everyone. And I think we already have someone in the audience. Oh, we do have someone in the audience. Perfect. Oh, we have Guy. I will bring you up here soon to come chat. Don't worry. We'll bring you up probably in 10-15 minutes. We'll let some people stroll in a little bit. But can I get out of this? I shouldn't have done that. But yeah, so I'm just going to wait for a few people to hop in first. I'm going to tag my, so people who want to come join can come join. But yeah, hopefully everyone's having a good time. It's been really interesting, not going to lie. I've had some videos pop off recently. My live streams have been popping off. My most recent videos popped off. And so it's been a doozy. I'll go into some of the comments too as well, but let me just tag this here. Please use. I want to see if I can hopefully pin this. Can I pin this? That's annoying. But yeah. So, again, anyone who's trying to come join. Yes. Welcome back, Steve. So are you asking me that you want me to make a video, or you want me to watch a video? Because I actually have seen some people try to make some arguments, some scientific errors without really understanding the full context of the Quran. And again, it's not a science book, and I think people try to claim that this is a science book when it's not a science book. But yeah, if anyone wants to come join, please join my, please join the Discord. And I think we already have one person who I'm excited to talk to here soon in the chat, and so that'll be exciting. But then yeah, but he's a Muslim brother, and so it'd be cool just to discuss with him. Speaking of that, where is my Discord? But yeah, we'll bring him up here soon, in 5 or so minutes. Where is? There we go. All right, yeah, I can definitely watch that. No, am I not in the chat? No, I'm in the chat. Yeah. Let me see. I'm here. But yeah, I can watch that. Yeah, exactly. I think when people say that there's scientific revelations in the Quran, the first thing people try to say is that this is exactly it's a science book, which it's not. I was reading, I think it was in the 41st surah, and I can't remember exactly, but it was basically saying, and also there's a quote in this in the Bible, or there's a verse of this in the Bible as well. But a lot of the things that are in the Quran, especially we have to remember 7th century pagan Arabia at the time, and a lot of the stuff that was revealed in the Quran were things that could only be really understood years later, right? Like many years later. I think the Alaskan Gulf phenomenon, with the two seas where they meet and there's a barrier in between, I think that's just one great example of it. Is that no one had a proper understanding of ocean geography until 700 years later. It was when it first began, right? And then we have multiple different instances where two seas meet. The most pronounced one is the Alaskan Gulf, where we have two seas with like different temperatures, and they do mix superficially, right? Obviously, like the two waters do mix, but there is a barrier that does prevent them from like actually mixing into one sea, which is pretty remarkable, considering the fact, right, that we have to understand about the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is that he got many, we can look at it in two fronts, right? We can look at the Prophet in two fronts, peace be upon him, is that he had a all right, none of it was perfect, but he had a pretty, decent understanding, or he talked about embryology. Obviously, it's not perfect. Private part. Sunny Rack to Sheikh about Hindus worshipping private part. He goes off. Huh. Yeah, I'll add that to the list. But we have to remember the Tafsir on the 2C explains that they're separated by land. The Alaskan Gulf, specifically, because I've seen pictures and it looks nuts. Let me see. Alaskan Gulf. Sea split. Yeah. I mean, it is pretty pronounced, right? It doesn't look like there's a land in between these two, right? But yeah, so what I wanted to get to about the Prophet Muhammad, right? He had, and I've even seen people say like, oh, Aristotle talked about embryology. Sure, okay, there maybe hypothetically, or even realistically, he wasn't maybe Prophet Muhammad might have not been the first person to talk about embryology in such remarkable detail. Again, not perfect detail, but remarkable, to say the least. And aside from that, he also talked about astrophysics, right? He talked about the expanding universe theory in the Quran. It was talked about just different laws within the Quran, right? Like how to, when you die, like how to properly bequeath your children, as well as there's even like a framework for the Big Bang theory with the heaven and the earth being sewn together and then being split, and all the different stories of the prophets, right? I mean, plus he's trying to manage 11 different wives. Most of them were who lost their husbands in war, so he took them so he can took their children in and take care of them. All of them not being virgins except for Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, and all the prophets, and all the wives of the prophet. So he had to manage all his different wives, right? He had to manage the Sahaba, right? He had to manage, also the conquest of Mecca. Plus, he had to. Yeah, I'm not too sure about the whole about I've only heard rumors, so I don't even know what the truth is about the embryology thing. I just heard it. I don't know if it's true or not, and like what the Greeks talked about, but we have like this man, this the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he was also fasting every Monday and Thursday and the white days, right? I mean, the amount of things that he was able to accomplish in a 23-year period is extremely remarkable. And the fact that he recited a book without ever reading anything, without ever writing anything, and it's been influential till today. And so, it's either there. It comes to the front where it's like this is all from the work and the mercy and the will of Allah Azza wa Jal, or the Prophet Muhammad is the most remarkable man to ever exist. Like it's literally one or the other, and so you pick your poison because it's pretty remarkable the fact that he had and also just the poetic mathematical alignment of the Quran as well. This is something I'm still learning about, but how even, Surah Al-Baqarah is like in this perfect diamond shape, and then there's also different diamond shapes within surahs and the entire Quran as well. And I think like this was a typical writing fashion in more ancient times, but the fact that the entire Quran has this mathematical principles to it of symmetry is extremely remarkable for at this scale, right? An entire book that's like 600 pages, I think. Why does the Quran say that the Holy Land is Israel? Well, yeah, I mean Palestine is like I don't that doesn't have people practicing. I mean, you have to remember like when the Ottomans had control over Palestine, all the different religions were able to practice there peacefully. Yeah. What matters is objective, verified evidence, something else. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, Israel doesn't have practicing Muslims now because I wonder what's happened in the past few years. Um, but for hundreds of years, I mean, I don't think you understand the mathematical. Just if you want to take anything from the Quran, anything, which I mean, you can deny it, is just the mathematical symmetry of it and the poetic symmetry of it. Aside from that, if you don't think it's remarkable, then please produce a book. Steve, it's on you, buddy. Produce a book, baby. We'll wait for you, because it's the fact that he couldn't read or write, and with just to give credit where credit is due. I don't let me see if I can search it up. Mathematical symmetry. I just want to know what exactly it's called of the Quran, because the Book of Revelations also follows this as well. Golden ratio, no. I want to not the numerical. No, not none of that stuff. I mean, even some of this stuff is crazy, right? Like, the way that day is referred to 365 times, month is referred to 12 times. But no, I want to know about the poetic symmetry of it. And that's also true. I mean, yeah, like I mean, there's also the metaphysical properties of it. I totally agree with you, Derek. What do you mean it's been done, dude? That baseless claim. But I do agree with you, the transformative property, and I can only speak like just from myself, right? Without a doubt, I mean, since I've started learning about Islam and practicing Islam for almost now, in its totality, 2.5 years, no, 3.5 years. Yeah, 3.5 years. I don't drink anymore. I don't do any substances. I don't have terrible relationships with women. I don't meaning relationships that overstep the bounds between before marriage, right? I don't. I pray 5 times a day. I fast more often ever than before, right? It's and I know that the atheist claim will be like, well, you don't need any of that stuff in order, you don't need this. You can do that without God. Well, true, but I think on the long run, it's when you have the Creator helping you, right? The Creator of the world, the Lord of all worlds on your side, the one who was never born and never died, helping you through what this crazy life is, all of these different tests. It makes things a lot easier, and you can truly see how much you don't need a lot of the worldly stuff of this life. For sure. But yeah, we'll look at Stephen. The Quran says that Jesus is the word of Allah. What does that mean? Is Allah's word? Where does it say that exactly? Is Allah's word created or separate from Allah Himself? Yeah, I'm confused on what on. Show me a surah and I'll look it up. Yeah, let's see. You're at work right now? All right. I mean, guy, if you're listening to, oh, I'm in the audience. What the heck? She's on stage. All right, guy. I can either you can join my YouTube live stream if you're in the Discord right now, or you can if you want I can pull you up if you want to chat. But I think you're at work, so I won't pull you up. All right. Is that Mercy? Which is yeah, Steven. Yeah, yeah. I think you mean I think you're referring to when like he's referring to that Jesus is like Adam, and they're both made from dust. All right, but yeah, all right. We'll we'll react to this to what Unexo wants to, and then if we have time, we'll react to some of the scientific property or scientific like evidences that are not Quranic. Whatever Steve said in the beginning. Because I'm not gonna lie, the Hindu one is kind of interesting to me. Yeah, and also if anyone wants to. Yeah, dog. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Steve. You will get what you want. Let's see. I really do. I listen to this guy. Are you talking about this one? No, not that one. About Hindus. Let's see. I don't know which one you're referring to. You said Hindus. I do find this guy funny though. He is pretty based. Walaikum salam. Yeah, we'll have the other one keyed up. What was it called? Pause. Jeez. Let's see which one. Can we do that? I don't want to watch a 58-minute video. The thing is, every time we get onto 58-minute videos, they never get fully watched on these streams. Just being realistic here. Walaikum salam. We're just queuing up some videos to react to. Again, if anyone wants to join on stage or has any questions, Christian, Muslim, or Jew, or whoever, atheist, go to my Discord. I'll paste it again right here. And shoot, yeah, happy to bring up anyone on stage as well to come chat. Yeah, we're just finding some stuff that we're potentially gonna react to, hopefully, inshallah. Yeah, I'm gonna post it again right here. Walaikum salam. Welcome, Hash. I'm good, bro. I'm good. Just obviously went to Juma earlier, and oh, you're talking about this one. Went to Juma earlier, and it was a good conversation about arrogance. It was actually about the two brothers in the garden, right? So the one brother who, you know, he was a non-believer, but he had a plentiful garden with, like, you know, grapes and dates and, you know, palm trees and all of these things. And he's super arrogant, and he was like, oh, you know, I don't believe in the day of judgment, but even if there is a day of judgment, I'm gonna have you know, Allah's gonna make sure that I get what I want in the day of, like, in the hereafter. And then there was a brother who didn't have much. He was poor, but, you know, he had strong faith in Allah. And he was hoping that he can have much more in the hereafter, which is true, right? Like, I mean, no matter what, right? Like all of us, whether you believe in God or not, we can't take whatever we have in this life, with us. It's all finite, right? We can work hard, we can treat people well. Hopefully we do some charity in between, and we pray as many times as we can. Inshallah, 5 times a day, obviously, if not more. And aside from that, there's nothing more like if we expect that we can take anything with us, then first of all, we're losing it anyways. And second of all, Allah has the ultimate power to take from us if we're not using it wisely, right? And if we're using it because we believe that we did it with our own hands. And so, it's good, not to be so arrogant. Be very thankful and grateful for the opportunities that we have in this life, and hopefully to help others who need it. But yeah, we'll watch it. Walaikum salam, Izzy. Walaikum salam, Robert. But I mean, Stephen, that's the same thing with the Bible. You have to read it. You have to read it in Hebrew. You have to read it in Aramaic. Yeah, I'll watch that video too, Hash. But yeah, I mean, English just wasn't around. So I mean, I don't know what we have to expect. And that's also true. So Thomas Jefferson's Quran is actually used when Muslim Congress people go into office, right? Instead of putting their hand on the Bible and they swear on the Bible, they put their hand on Thomas Jefferson's Quran. Even Ben Franklin, it was either Ben Franklin or Thomas Edison. I think it was Ben Franklin. Even he said that he would be a Mohammedan, if he was around during the life of the Prophet. And so most of the founding fathers were deists rather than Christians, which is totally apparent, because if they were true Christians, then I'm sure we would have Jesus Christ written, just the name written somewhere within our Constitution or within our Bill of Rights. But no, they were deists, and they were people who absorbed different forms of God, whether it's the Bible or the Quran, and yeah, it wasn't like they a lot of them, Thomas Jefferson specifically, they rejected the idea that Jesus was God. But yeah, all right, we'll watch this video and then we'll watch the apostate one. Yeah, no, and then Hash, we can watch that one after. We do have a couple videos that people want to watch.
Gaza is at a tipping point. The adults
Yep,
who are
and prayers for
malnourished.
Gaza.
This is Aisha from India.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamullah.
Sheikh, I have a question that is a little bit long gone. Please explain it to me. So the question is, recently on internet, I have seen a lot of reels about how the Western media perceives the marriage of Hazrat Aisha and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And as an Indian who lives in the Hindu community, a lot of my friends and my family who are non-Muslim had this question: why is this marriage okay for you guys? So is there any rational way to explain non-Muslims and my friends and my family about it?
No, there is no reason to explain this to anyone, because it's so pathetic and so stupid of them to come and ask about this specific incident when they themselves worship cows, mice.
Yep. I mean, it's true. I also do find it interesting. I also do find it interesting when the Christian faith, they let go of red meat during the Lent season. But yeah, I like this sheikh. This sheikh's awesome.
Private organs and 65,000 gods. This is illogical to come and point fingers when your house is not made of even glass, rather it's made of spider web. You don't throw stones at people. Point one. Point
That's
two.
also a very good point. I especially with the YouTube scene 1000% with the YouTube scene. It's like, I think both, I'll be completely honest here. I think all people actually, atheists, Muslims, Christian influencers, whoever, try to take the most obscure points to point fingers at whatever it may be, within the religion or within the belief system, rather than to talk about what's the true matter of the point. And the true matter of this, in my opinion, is like, is there a God or is there not God? And how do you worship God and how do you not worship God? Because it's all about your individual actions, right? Like, I mean, we can sit on YouTube all day and debate till the cows come home, but how are you going to treat your family, right? How are you going to treat your friends, right? Are you going to be an ethical person at work, right? Are you going to take care of your body, right? Are you going to put what you need physically to be a healthy, functioning person in society, like, and what do these different belief systems push you towards, right? That's how I see it. And, being in a pretty large atheist group in San Francisco specifically, where like technology was something that people worshipped, people are, they had the freedom to do a lot more of what their desires were, but ultimately I don't think a lot of people were necessarily fulfilled with their own actions, their own relationships. And so, that is one of the big sticking points where it's like, I had a whole, group, and I don't mean 5, 10, I mean 20, 30, 40, 50. I mean, sometimes even more than that at some of these events I would go to. And, it just seems like to me, when I've been in Muslim circles, it's a lot pure, people who are more fulfilled, and even with potentially less money, less parties, less this, they feel more fulfilled in their lives.
All of Islam,
Islam,
with its hundreds of thousands of topics and issues, this is the only thing that you dislike about it? Well, this makes it the perfect religion. If you ignore the issues of monotheism, of tawheed, of prayers, fasting, zakat, transactions, the legal system, the sharia system, every perfect
then Stephen, you gotta send me a video to watch.
Aspect of Islam, and you turn a blind eye to all of this. No. I just want to focus on how did Muhammad alayhi salatu marry a 9-year-old girl. This is the only thing you found about Islam that is negative? Then this is a medal of honor. Thirdly,
I agree.
Can I ask a question? How did Aisha feel about marrying Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam? How did her parents feel? How did the neighbors, the families, the loved ones? They say they were all happy. So, excuse me, if the parties involved are happy and satisfied, what's your problem?
Also, like, what 7th century law was he breaking? Whether you want to bring up Christian law, Arab pagan law, Islamic law, even the worst enemies of the Prophet, didn't even, bat an eye to this, right? They were after him for so many other things. This was not something of contention. If we look at the Quran, we have ayahs where it talks about that in between a marriage there has to be consent. These are things that were not introduced in the Christian religion until around the 12th century. And then the ages were obviously what they were for till the 20th century.
Oh, we have Geneva Convention. Where is your Geneva Convention when 40,000 individuals are and maimed in Gaza? Where is it? You've left all of this and you come to the marriage of our noble Prophet.
Just tell me the video that you want me to watch, and I'll watch it. We do have a couple stacked right now.
Prophet ﷺ, to someone who is madly in love with him, her parents are fine with it, everybody is fine with it. Let this slide. From all the centuries ago, it's been 1,500 years almost that this marriage took place. When did the issue of him marrying a 9-year-old surfaced? The first 100 years, the second 100 years, the first 1,000? It only surfaced like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Maximum 200 years ago. What about the 1,300 years ago, where nobody ever said a single word? Why? Well, the Jews didn't comment when he got married. The Christians didn't comment.
I mean, it is interesting how we have this president. I mean, like, obviously, right? Like, just to be completely honest and fair, right? We live, specifically me. I live in America. I live in California. Our age of consent is 18 years old, and I think that is a good thing, right? I think that is a great thing. We have countries like Germany that have age of consent that's 14 years old. I think Italy is like another one that's like 14, 15, 16 years old. The UK is 16 years old. We have we have the country of Ethiopia where they practice child marriages. I think like 4% of their country is from child marriage. Yemen is another country that has child marriages. Then we have countries like Turkey that, their age of marriage is 18 years old, with many other Muslim countries. So, I mean, this is not a phenomenon that's standardized throughout the entire world, right? There's different laws, there's different cultures, there's all these different things. And, as Muslims, we follow the law. And I think following the law, specifically when it comes to marriage, is a good thing, And, obviously we live in a very different world now than it was 1,400 years ago. But it's like we're trying to use our current format of our environment, of our present day thinking to argue something that no one argued for the last 1,300 years. This is just something that's a new revelation. And so it's like, if this is the biggest sticking point, then unfortunately I think, people, it's be smart for them to look at, so many different aspects within a religion and then come to a conclusion. And I'll be honest, it took me time to really get over the fact as well. Like I'm not gonna be like I'm not gonna lie to you. It took me a very long. That was one of the few sticking points. One of them was, how are people gonna react to me becoming a Muslim within my friend group? But another one was like, yeah, the marriage is totally between the Prophet and Aisha. It doesn't make sense to me in a present day form. But then really looking at it, from the historical context, this is something that was practiced for up until in America, in Delaware, for example, till the 1900s, right? The early 1900s. And so it's like, can we fault people for what was just culturally accepted for hundreds, if not 1,000 years, 1,300 years? And other religions didn't even have consent, part of marriage until 500 years after the revelation of the Quran. It's like there's I find it odd where people don't take the historical context, and people, obviously like normal day Muslims can be like, yes, I want my wife to be the same age as me, and that is great, and we can move forward from there. I do find it extremely strange.
Hypocrites didn't comment. The Persians, the Byzantines, nobody said anything because that was the norm. Everybody did it. And it was so normal that till recently, the age of consent is 10 in so many countries. The age of consent of a girl is 10 till today. There are countries that it's 10, it's 11. Even in France, I think it is 13 years. Last month, they've announced it.
Yeah, I've said it before, Gayam, where yes, if there is a Muslim brother who violated any of the laws in America, specifically the one when it comes to child marriage, I'd be the first one to say that this person deserves jail time, without a doubt. Because that is modern day America. I mean, you got to also look at, like I said before, like the different Christian countries that have different ages of consent as well. Like I said, Germany, Italy. I mean, the list is crazy. But for where I live, in my environment, in my state of the country that I exist in, yeah, I would be the first one to say if there's issues and if a Muslim brother was with someone who was breaking the law, right, then that person deserves jail time, and I'd be proud to say that. Like I don't see the issue with that.
So, excuse me, what's happening? So at the end of the day, dogs bark. It would never ever stop the clouds from moving. Why should you pay attention unless you are a full-fledged hypocrite who doesn't like the religion yourself, and that's why it's coinciding with the doubts in your head. And I hope, Aisha, that you're not like this. A proud Muslim.
No, I'm not going against my prophet. Not at all. And I know this is the classic like gotcha moments, but I really want you to know, Gaiam, that this is just not it. Like, this is just not your gotcha moment. I really want you to understand this, right? There was consensual marriage between the two, right? I believe in consensual marriage 1000%. You know, this is also Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, was from Abu Bakr. It was the child of Abu Bakr, right? His basically the number 2 in command, the first caliph in the Sunni religion, or in the Sunni sect of Islam. And so there's nothing wrong about that. And adapt to societal laws. All right, I'll show you that. Because it is understood in Islam that we have to follow the laws of the country that we live in. Now, whether that's a hadith or in the Quran, I'll look for that for you. And I'm sure one of the Muslim brothers can also help me out with that too.
Muslim doesn't care about these ignorant imbeciles who worship private parts. They have temples worshiping private parts. They worship mice. They worship cows. They do heinous things and claim that they are their gods. They have the audacity to let them, till recently, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah, now you're actually part of it. You're just sitting in the Discord, which I appreciate. But yeah, again, if anyone wants to come chat in the Discord, I'll happily bring you on stage.
They used to burn the wife with her deceased husband.
Also, Michael, this is actually, I'm really glad you brought this up. All right, I want to read this one out loud. In Islam, so a 9-year-old can consent. In Islam, yes, Iraq just passed a law. And so this is actually one of the really unfortunate things about what has happened in the world today. Now, I'm not saying that this is exactly the reason why Iraq passed a law like this. I'm using my own intellect and I'm using my own opinions and my own understanding of the historical context. So if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and I'm happy to admit that I'm wrong to this. But in 1999, there was a report by the United Nations that 500,000, and I've said this before, but 500,000 children in Iraq have died from either sanctions or from war conflicts, right? This has been a phenomenon that's been happening in Iraq for almost 30 years, right? Almost 30 years, their society has been decimated, and they've been losing hundreds of thousands of children and lives from different sanctions and war conflict. And so, unfortunately, due to them being bombed and being attacked and being raided, militarily and economically, there has to be extreme laws in order to replenish the society, right? I wonder what type of countries bombed them. I wonder what was their religious, the culture and the religion of those countries, right? And so it's a super unfortunate scenario where they are being forced, where they have to have marriages such as this, right? And it's because of the lack of humans that are being born into the society. It's from the lack of aid that they're getting. It's from the different economic and war conflicts that they've had to survive through for the past almost 30 years now. And so is it a shame? Absolutely. But this is not because this is some Islamic Muslim pressuring belief. This is because they are literally dying, right? Their society is dying, right? Syria, for example, has 1.2 million orphans, right? These Muslim countries are they're unfortunately going to have a lot of the people, the soldiers are dying, right? Because they've been in conflict for so long. And so I this is my opinion. This is what I've done some research on, and I believe, from my understanding, that this isn't just from the Islamic just an Islamic thing. This is just from a cultural, what is going on geopolitically speaking, in order to ensure that the society can continue to grow, because they have had such deep loss of life.
She's a property of his. And they used to throw them in the river.
I'm not conditioning the sickness.
You can see their corpses. Against her will, of course. They're burning her, cremating her against her will. What do you have to say about this? Oh, no, hush, hush. We don't want to say anything. This is hate speech. Yani, excuse me, but they should get a life. Zishan from Pakistan.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Okay, so these days on internet, everybody is trying to spread negativity towards Islam on social media. So when Muslim pages and Muslim influencers try to refute these kind of persons who try to disrespect Islam or try to disrespect Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yeah. No, it's Jared, 1000%. Like, I'll say it 1,000 times. You know, I'll say it as many times as I need to. What's going on and is horrible, and unfortunately, I don't think people really understand the severity of what's happening geopolitically, and why these laws have to be in place in order to allow such things. Right? It's obviously not good. I pray that things can get better, and I pray that this doesn't have to be the scenario in terms of marriages, but it's just the truth of the matter, right? It is just the truth of the matter. It's unfortunate, but it is true.
So
Because how does it help when they're dying, Michael? Unfortunately, they're dying.
I tend to skip these kind of videos because I know I can't do anything about the people that are trying to disrespect the Islam. So it would only make me sad. So I skip these videos and don't share it. Is it okay for me to skip these kind of videos that are basically to educate the ummah about what is happening?
All right. I think that's about this. I know Steve had some what he wanted to watch. We can do 43 scientific mistakes. I don't know if you're talking about this one, the 43, or the top one. I'll wait. And yeah, I'll see it. Again, if anyone wants to come chat, Discord is open. Oh, keep watching? All right, I'll keep watching.
Happening around, or is it not okay?
Sometimes, or most of the times, it would be trivial and pointless to reply to these attempts to tarnish the reputation of Islam simply because when a dog barks at you, it's illogical for you to fall on your hands and knees and bark back. It's
Classic.
a dog and you're a human being. Simply shrug your shoulders and move on. Let the dog bark. It's not gonna impact you. And when you stop to try to defend and to refute, you will find that 10 more are collaborating.
Yes, Michael. As I don't know how much more I have to admit it. I don't agree with it. I live in 2025 America, right? These are the laws that I follow. I think people get so worked up about these more obscure things, right? Rather than what the message of Islam is. The praying 5 times a day, doing charity, the oneness of God, all of the amazing things that all the prophets did, helping your family. People really like to go very deep onto these things. Again, without truly understanding the historical context. This is one marriage which no one discussed about it for 1,300 years. Walaikum salam.
Against you, and they're making it even worse. So you're publicizing what they're doing and you're giving them some weight and people are getting attention of what they're saying. Rather, if you just ignore it and move on,
I don't think I have links turned on. But I'm gonna watch one scientific there's a scientific video that Steve wants to watch.
Allah said, Inna shani'aka huwa al-abtar. The one, O Muhammad, who hates you and holds a grudge against you is the one who's cut off and that no one will ever mention. And this is the actual fact. Look at the haters of our religion and of our Prophet ﷺ. They're nothing. They're the scum of the earth. No matter how influential they are politically, whether they're politicians or billionaires or influencers, they're nothing. Their mentioning is dead. Nobody knows them. Yeah, they might shine for some time and that's it. Our Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam has...
Yeah, 100%. Unique makes a good point, right? I mean, imagine like all of the things that Islam brought, right? You know, it took such a pagan society and added so much pureness to it. I do find it absurd.
Been mentioned for the past 15 centuries 5 times a day with the name of Allah Azza wa Jal around the globe. Wherever there is a country that calls the adhan.
And yeah, I mean, and this is what it comes down to, right? Well, I mean, just look at the chat. It becomes a zero-sum game, right? It truly becomes a zero-sum game. Because there are horrible things about how women are treated. No, Gayam, I'm not contradicting the Sheikh or the Islamic scholars. This is something that no one talked about for 1300 years, and we live in the modern age, and this is how as modern people live in Western countries, right? You know, again, we as you know, a lot of my comment section they love to do is presentism. Look, you know, what happened in history is something that no one had issues with for 1300 years, as he said, right? You know, and me as an individual who lives in this country, who when I look to get married, inshallah, I'll be looking for someone who, yes, is someone who is relatively around the same age as me. Aside from that, when I see the Prophet or any other person in history, and guess what? You're probably from a marriage that was younger than 18. You probably had cousins who were married at some point in your ancestry in the past, 10 generations. And so, this was just something that historically had to happen. And unfortunately, it does happen in countries that are riddled with poverty, don't have high education, right? Who get hit with economic sanctions, who get bombed constantly. This is something that just happens all over the world. And if you're attacking Muslim countries, then unfortunately you got to look at like you got to look at countries like Ethiopia, because this is happening all over. And Ethiopia is one of the highest populations of Christians in the world. And so this isn't unique to just this religion. This is unique. This happens to a lot of countries that have very low education, who get hit pretty hard with economic sanctions, and who get bombed constantly from different wars in the Middle East. And so, unfortunately, yeah, Zach, thank you. Yeah, I mean, you guys think of that this is an Islamic issue. No, this is countries that are poor, right? And this doesn't happen in only Muslim countries. This happens in very dense Christian countries as well. I don't think you understand what slavery really was. In terms of like what was happening in the Islamic world. I mean, the person who did the Adhan, what was the Sahaba's name? But he was a black slave. What was his name? Please forgive me. Astaghfirullah. Help me out. Who was the one who performed the Adhan first? Or who typically performed the Adhan? Let me see. Yeah, Bilal. Yeah. Bilal ibn Rabah. Yeah, may Allah be pleased. And so, I mean, imagine then, right? 7th century, where, I mean, like, there's been many different times where racism, took over the society. But especially then, right? and the person who performed the adhan was someone who, I mean, it's a beautiful story, right? You know, he had his master would try to put a boulder on his chest to get him to say that there's no God, but he kept on constantly saying there's only one Lord, you know, only one God, and he was the one who performed the adhan, right? And so, you know, trying to say anything about slavery is, again, that's a crazy argument, and it was I mean, what was happening in America, man? I mean, this is nuts. Yeah, I mean, I it is unfortunate. I really think that people do deviate from the main messages and go to the really obscure things, like what I'm reading right here. I haven't heard this story, Stephen, just to be completely honest, about Moses chasing a rock naked. But you know, people find the craziest things.
Round the globe, 24 hours, 7 days a week, 30 days a month, 360 days a year, all the time. His name is mentioned whenever it is Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, the name of Allah, you hear Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. It's always there. So look at the haters, look at the enemies. Where are they? They're 6 feet under. And whenever they're mentioned, people curse them, spit on their graves, and nobody even knows who they are. So don't waste your time and focus on learning your religion.
No, so if you want to come join, you can go. Yes, I've heard of Al-Zut. That is ridiculous, Steve. That you're a smart guy, Steve, and I know you know that's not that's even a weak hadith. But as well as it, that even Al-Zut historically were not even that was post the life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. When the Muslims at that time actually met. But yeah, so yeah, to answer your question, who asked? Yeah, so Gayum, if you want to join, you can go to my Discord. It's in my description on YouTube, and I'll bring you on stage. Now the thing is, I'm not debating anyone, but if you have something that I want to discuss, I'll give you the platform to speak for a few minutes. Then I'll have my potential rebuttal, and then you can bring your rebuttal back, and then that will be the discussion from there. I see a lot of these debates going on, you know, constantly on YouTube, and even though they are extremely entertaining, don't get me wrong, they are extremely entertaining from both ends. It's just I don't want my channel to become that. I don't want, you know, to disrespect anyone. I don't care about being arrogant. I don't care about being smarter than anyone. I don't care about feeling stupider than anyone. None of that truly matters to me at all. You know, my true aim is to be the best Muslim that I can, to be respectful to everyone that comes onto my channel, whether I disagree with their opinions or not, and whether I agree with their opinions or not, and you know, to shed light on what the amazing things that Islam has truly done for me. And so if you want to come discuss your point, then please. But if you want to come and yell or argue or you know, debate me, then there's so many other people that you can come and chat with. But I'm happy to hear whatever point, whatever, you know, it's almost, you got to think about it as like a one question go. Like, tell me your question, tell me your topic, I'll listen to it. I'll tell you what my rebuttal is, or like maybe you taught me something that I haven't really heard before, and then I'll let you speak, and then we'll end it from there. It is extremely experimental though. I have not tried it, but yes. So yeah, I will. I'll place it again. Shoot. Yeah, let me grab the Discord link again. There you go. Steven, look. People told me to watch the video. Okay, like, if you have something to say, come. No, I'm gonna watch this first. Steve wants us to watch this. Yeah, Hash. Steve wants me to watch this. I will say, even though he's an atheist, he has been here for many streams, and so we'll get what he wants. And And if people can let me know. No, Steve. Steven, I already have this video. And so the next video we'll watch is from Hash, and the video after that we'll watch is from you, Steven. But yeah, well, if anyone wants to join on stream right now on my Discord, we do have someone. Okay, perfect. All right, we're gonna bring someone from the audience. Let me know if you can hear this guy. Let me see. Let's bring you on stage, friend. Nope. How do I bring you on stage? Hold on. Invite to stage. No, invite to server. No. All right. If you're in, can you raise your hand? If you can hear me, can you raise your hand? Yes. No, raise your hand again. Yeah. There we go. Okay.
Hello?
Sweet. Yes, you're here.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. Assalamu alaikum. I'm doing well. Peace be upon you. So welcome.
Yeah, I've just got a question to run by you.
Yeah. Are you? I guess. Do you want? Can I? Is there a name you want me to call you by?
You can call me Alpha.
Alpha. Sure. All right, Alpha. And then what? Do you have like a religious sect or?
Yeah, I'm Christian.
Christian. All right. We have Alpha. Yeah. He's a Christian. Yeah. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. And so yeah, what do you want to share?
Yeah. So just a quick question. Do you believe that Allah has an attribute of being all loving?
I believe that. So yeah, this is your question. Does Allah?
Yeah, it's kind of a multifaceted question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll give you. Can you explain all of your questions then, or are you? Is this?
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, do you believe Allah's attribute of being all loving is eternal? And then I was going to ask you, if it's eternal, who was he loving before creation?
Yeah. So it's funny. There's actually a hadith about this where you're not really hitting like on it specifically of, you're like what was before Allah, but you're saying what was before creation. And that comes from the devil, funny enough. But again, I'm sure there's a brother in the chat that can share the hadith about that specifically. So, and this is from my understanding, I believe that, Allah has all these beautiful names. I think he's all merciful, he's all forgiving, and he knows best. Now, is all loving a part of this? That's an excellent question. But yeah, I would assume from that he does love his creations, but for sure 100% he's all forgiving. There's an example of this when in the Quran in the second surah, when Adam sins, right? When Adam, goes against God and eats from the tree. There's this Arabic word. Well, first of all, it's actually beautiful. It says that Allah inspired Adam to repent, right? So it means that even repentance only comes from Allah, right? And so this goes into the interesting point about free will. But, Allah inspired Adam to repent. And then there's this Arabic word that if you were to change it into English, right, translate it to English, it means Allah constantly accepts forgiveness, right? And so I guess through those actions, my question would then be is that considered all loving? Maybe even like a dad, right? He forgives you and he loves you from a parental figure, right? With my father specifically. But ultimately, yes, I think he's all forgiving and all merciful. That's what I would say for this.
Well, with all due respect, my question was, if he is all loving, which that's one of his attributes, and Allah's attributes, his 99 attributes are eternal. So as in they existed outside of time and space. Before creation, before Allah created, humans, who was he loving? How did he perform this action of love?
Yeah, and so my answer for that would be Allah knows best, right? We know that that creation was obviously in Genesis, right? The first things he created were light, earth, heavens. From our understanding, he created the earth and then created the heavens. He called them to come to each other and stitch them together. So that would be our understanding of where the universe began. I know some of the other creations created first was the pen. He wrote everything down up until the end of time. One of his next creations was Jibril, where he showed them both heaven and hell, and so he created, and then it goes to the next thing, right? So Jannah, right, is this paradise that he created for his best of servants, and so yeah, I would say Allah knows best if there's anything that he would have loved beforehand, but from my understanding, I can only speak about from what I know, and that would be the creations that he created, were heaven, earth.
I understand. The reason I'm asking is because obviously in Christianity we believe that there's a triune God, as
Yes.
in Father, Son, Spirit.
Yes.
So before creation, the three persons were eternally loving each other. But in the case of Islam, because it's one person, Allah, before creation, either he was loving himself or he wasn't loving anybody. And when creation came, then his attribute of love came into effect. So what that essentially means is Allah, his attribute of love moved from potentiality to actuality, which is the scholastic definition of change. And if something can change, it can be measured by time. And if it can be measured by time, then it's not independent, it's a dependent being, which would violate the laws of logic, because you have an independent being, but then you have an attribute that is dependent. Do you understand?
Yeah, no, I understand. And is there anything else you want to share?
No, I just wanted to run that by you.
Cool. No, I appreciate that. You're the first person that we were able to bring up on stage that wasn't a Muslim, so I appreciate your time. That's something for me to think
No
about.
problem.
And I do have another person who wants to come up on stage, but is there anything else you want to share?
No, that's it.
Sweet. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course, bro. Yeah, I hope you continue to watch the streams. And yeah, again, you're welcome to come back any other time if you have any other questions or topics. Like I said, I don't want this to be a debate where we keep going back and forth and end up nowhere. But I really appreciate your time.
No, I understand. I just wanted to bring that by you. What times do you host your live?
So I usually go live around like 3 p.m. PST. So that's California time, and I'll probably do like 2 or 3 times a week.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll probably join next time as well.
Awesome. No, I really appreciate this. And then yeah, I mean, if you are in my Discord and if you have anything that you want to, like any links you want me to look at as well from this, happy to look into it as well.
No problem.
Sweet. All right, bro. Thanks for coming. I'm gonna add the next person to the stream.
Thank you.
All right. Yep. We have another person coming up. Let me see. Invite to speak. I invite you to speak. Oh, here we go. Let's go.
Assalamu alaikum, bro. How you doing?
Wa alaikum salam, brother. I'm doing great, alhamdulillah. It's Friday. It's the best of days, right? The day we were created. And so...
Yes, bro. Like, bear in mind if you do not understand my accent, bro, I'm from the UK, so I might sound like I'm speaking European or something, bro. Just bear with me, okay?
No worries, bruv. Welcome, my guy. I'm excited.
No worries, bro. So basically, I wanted to just like follow up on the previous person's what his question was.
Sure.
His answer was. He said something about it not being with the laws of logic because it's independent. However, Allah is independent, and for example, we can't just have a continuous things of being dependent on other things. For example, if you go with the Trinity, you would have the question of, okay, is the Son dependent on the Father? And because obviously, as you know, the Father created the Son, so therefore, yes, the Son is dependent on the Father. However, that would go against, okay, so are they co-equal then if one's dependent on the other but one is not dependent on the other? That's why you would need one specific source who would be independent, who isn't dependent on time, who isn't dependent on anything. And something else which he said, who did Allah love before the creation? Before humans on earth, it was actually the jinns on earth. So jinns had free will. And also you can go to different things. Many people believe atoms are living things, and living things also are loved by the creation. Allah loves everything. For example, it says in the Quran, everything prostrates towards Allah. The trees, the seas, whatever you want, it all prostrates to Allah. So yeah, like I just wanted to, like, because there's a lot of ignorant people out there who just assume stuff, and I just want to like I don't know if you've seen, I was fighting for my life on chat trying to answer every question,
Yeah, no, I see that.
because
No,
like I
dude,
just want people to know that
I need you guys helping me out here,
I'm
man.
sorry.
I'm learning. But yeah, go ahead.
Nah, man, nah, man, you know where it is, like, bro. I'm only 18, bro, but Alhamdulillah, Allah's
Alhamdulillah.
gave me the knowledge. Like, I'm not the
MashaAllah.
most knowledgeable, but like, I'm very knowledgeable in putting worldly matters in terms of social morality
Mm-hmm.
and Islam together. For example, um, one of the things as well is that when Islam came to establish authority, like I said in the chat, uh, we there was no interest. Interest is not allowed, it's refused. Why?
Yeah.
Because it takes away the righteousness of, for example, if you was to lend me $20 and then I said to you, thank you so much, but then you ended up saying to me, okay, no, but every 1 day late that you pay
Mm-hmm.
it, I'm going to charge you $5 extra. Now let's say if I was genuinely suffering in that situation, that would not be just.
Yeah.
And so therefore the banking system would collapse. Then the pornography, I'll just say so you don't get cancelled, and the pornography industry, that is so, what's the word? That is so, what's the word I'm looking for? It's so brainwashing. Like if you look
Mm.
at nowadays, like had this one brother who was talking on a show, he didn't show his face, nothing. He said he was watching pornography to the point where he would have desires about his own siblings.
And then
And as
can you explain
stupid
to me
as that
what
might sound,
pornography is? Like, what do you mean by that? Like, what does that mean?
pornography, are you aware or you want me to explain it for the chat?
Yeah, explain for the chat as well, but also for me. Also for me.
So pornography, okay, so pornography, you can just substitute the C with a P and you'll
Oh,
understand. But
yeah. Okay, never
uh,
mind. Never mind. Okay, yep. I'm with you
yeah,
now.
exactly. So
Yeah.
there was one person, as stupid as it sounds and as immoral it may sound, there was somebody who said that they watched it so much that they ended up having own thoughts about their own siblings. And
Yeah, that's horrible.
I'm sorry that people need to hear this, but it is the reality, it is the ugly truth.
Yeah,
And people do get these thoughts through watching intimacy
1000%.
online. And like,
It's horrible.
exactly, and plus another exactly 100%,
Yeah.
and plus it's just like brainwashing to
And
the
also,
point
dude,
where
you're also
now
self-cucking
people
yourself if you do that stuff. Like,
exactly
it's sad.
100%,
It's sad.
and exactly, and it's very sad. Like, also with the pornography
What
industry
before you
is
continue,
that
one of my favorite hadiths, which is so true, because obviously I was before Islam, it was I had my own period of ignorance, right? Um, and there's this
yeah,
hadith that says like it's better for you to get a nail in your head. I'm paraphrasing, a nail in your head than it was to touch a woman, than it is to touch a woman that isn't yours, right? Like a wife or your mom. Um,
yeah,
and it's totally true, right? Like, all of these instances where people think it's just fun and play, whatever. There's lasting effects on your heart and your brain where it truly manipulates,
100%.
your soul, your actions, and also potentially can deteriorate your future relationships because then you have all these different expectations from different actions or things that you
Exactly, bro.
watched.
And I'm sorry to cut you off, bro, but
Go
as
ahead.
well as destroying your relationships and stuff, and it's also destroying your own character. For example, I've seen people who like man to man, not on no LGBT HDMI stuff, but the
Yeah.
guy, he's a good looking, handsome man, but he's still nervous to talk to women,
Mm-hmm.
not in a haram way, but like just to go ask for the hand in marriage. But he's nervous to, I don't know, to just talk to people. He has social anxiety. Why? Because when you do the act whilst you're watching pornography, you do get social anxiety when you're in public, because now you're so detached from society that now you got this expectation of every time you talk to a woman, okay, I want my end goal to be this from what you watched. Therefore, you're always gonna have subconsciously the end thought in your mind. So when you're talking to a woman now, your main goal is to get to that goal, which is
Yeah.
from what you watch through what you've been watching
For
now.
sure, and now you're
That's
gonna
why
creating a proper relationship, and also raising children. And children is an amazing gift from Allah. I totally agree with you.
exactly, bro. And on this topic, bro, like somebody whenever people say that Islam oppresses women, like like I swear down, bro, I just laugh, bro, because what's funny? Before Islam came, women had no rights to the
Yep.
point where if a man had a debt, he could sell his woman off to the person who he owed the debt to and clear off the debt like that.
Yeah.
And women could not work. But then, if you look at also the wife of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she was a tradeswoman. She was a very successful tradeswoman. Not even just that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the reason why people now think that Islam's oppressing women? Sorry, is because back in the days, what happened was people they didn't have these rights. Now Islam gave them the rights, but it's like I think it's
Now,
in what
before
surah is
before
it where
before you
where
continue
it's
that,
about competition?
I did want to say, it's funny. We can look at the two quote unquote extremes, and United States specifically. Hopefully I'm not misquoting this or misquoting statistics, but this is something that
Oh yeah, no, I know, bro. Don't worry, bro. You can just say that you're paraphrasing, so
yeah,
then we,
paraphrasing.
you know,
But
paraphrasing.
there's like 1.4 million Muslim women. I believe it's in the ages of 18 to 25. And then in America, there's also 1.4 million women ages 18 to 25 on OnlyFans, right? And so it's like, which ones are like which extreme group, right, is the ones that are using women or like
Exactly.
yeah, like um yeah. So
If you look at
it's interesting.
and if you look at in World War Two, like just imagine like your parents or your great grandparents seeing their great granddaughters selling themselves online. They would
Yeah,
literally call it prostitution. Like I seen this video of this where a dress like a half naked dress got introduced to British women, and they were like, I would never wear this. Any girl with half a decency would never wear this. Now, fast forward, I think it was just 20 years ago. Like, oh no, sorry, not 20 years ago. Like probably 50 years ago. And you fast forward 50 years now, you got women who are selling their bodies online, and Islam says do not do that. Why? Because Islam puts puts the puts a hierarchy of women. Like they literally say,
yeah,
like Jannah lies underneath the feet of your mother. Like like the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked, who should we what's the word? Like please somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if it's like obey or respect the most. Um and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, your mother.
yeah.
Then they said
No,
next who? And then
he said
he said your
who's your
mother.
greatest friend? Like
Greatest friend,
yeah,
sorry.
who's your
Okay,
greatest friend?
greatest friend,
It's your
sorry.
mom, your mom, your mom, and then your father.
Your mom, and then your father.
Yeah,
Like, and plus, not even just that. It's like who are pressing women more when nowadays, like, women have to, like, no, sorry, look, and forget what I just said. Now it's like what's bad about women being influenced by Islam, which is better than women being influenced by society? For example, if you look at when COVID finished, right? Women they were asked what's it called? Oh yeah, why are you still wearing the mask on when COVID's finished? But
mm-hmm.
but then most of them said, oh yeah, and it's because we don't need to do our makeup and stuff and don't spend all these hours, which shows that makeup is not really what they are deep down in the hearts want to do. Is that they are influenced by society.
Yeah,
For example, you might see women who are clubbing
that's a
at
good point.
nighttime and they're walking home carrying their heels. Why? Because they know that even though the heels are hurting their feet whilst they're walking, they are influenced by society because it's a quote unquote makes them look pretty. Therefore, they're getting influenced by society in whether it's directly or indirectly. I'm
Yeah,
not saying they are looking at society be like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna be influenced by this. No, I mean indirectly.
yeah,
And it's such a norm nowadays. It's like nowadays, if a woman covers herself, she's looked at as if she's, I don't know, a ninja. But if
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah, yeah,
woman
yeah,
is but if a woman is wearing bikini, she's looked at as a model,
yeah,
which is just twisted with society. And the same goes with men. If a man is righteous and he does good acts, for example, in school, who people may call a quote unquote nerd, if somebody does good in school, read books, people call him a quote unquote nerd, look at him in a bad way. However, if a man, I don't know, smokes what do you call it in America, a backwood
yeah,
or a
yeah, yeah.
joint or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
people look at him as if he's a cool guy. Society is so twisted nowadays to shift the norm from what is right from wrong, and Islam puts it back into place. And another thing that people complain about is the jizya in Islam. Now, like, it makes me laugh because people say, "Oh yeah, no, but you know, but if you don't convert and they're gonna make us pay this jizya. Jizya is 2.5% tax. You guys are getting taxed 40%, 60%, and you're complaining about
1000%. It's true. I was looking at it, and it's obviously scaled, but you know, it's at least it could be a couple dollars if you're super poor, and at most it's a couple $100 if you're super rich.
exactly,
Yeah, I totally agree.
exactly. But no, like, no, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it 2.5% or what is it? Jizya, what is it? Like, how much percentage is it?
Um, I it's I don't know what the exact percentage it is, but it is based. It's for sure less than what's the charity tax the one during Ramadan. What's that one called? Because that one's 2.5% or 3%.
Yeah, right. And
But the
plus, if you
jizya
look at,
tax is I don't know if there's exact it's a couple hundred, it was like a couple shekels or a couple hundred shekels, something like
yeah,
that.
exactly.
And in
And plus,
modern money today, in US dollars, it would be around like, you know, a couple dollars if you're super poor and a couple $100 if you're super rich, which, you know, people who are making
exactly,
like, you know, $100,000 a year, you know, they're getting taxed $40,000, for example. Yeah, zakat. Thank you,
exactly.
Michael. All right, Michael,
And
I
plus,
also, 1 second. So my second channel, which I used to post some gaming stuff, who's also my mod, I posted the Discord in the chat if you want to come join. But if after this conversation here, I am going to I'm going to go watch something that Steve wanted me to watch. But anyways, we'll give you like 1 more minute left, and then we are going to move on to the next thing.
okay,
Yeah,
that's fine. But what's it called? The last thing, which I just wanna touch up on
yeah,
is people's problem with the jizya does not make no sense because if you look at the conditions for a jizya, it would mean that they are under the Muslim protection, meaning that if the area was to go to war, these guys could just, I don't know what you do nowadays, just chill at home whilst the
yeah.
Muslims would go fight in the war, and plus we are paying more of a percentage when it comes to as our zakat. So therefore, this people saying what's it called? This jizya is
Like
this
it's
is
they
that.
call it a
Please
humiliation
do your research.
tax.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Please do your research. And yeah, but Max, I'll be real with you. This was my first ever time on your stream. It was brilliant talking to you. I really hope that Allah continues to guide
Thank you,
you
bro.
and bless you and your family. And inshallah, I will
I
continue to
mean,
join your stream and have a wonderful day, Max.
dude, thank you, bro. What time is it where you're at? Is it 4 a.m.?
Nah, bro, it's 22 minutes past midnight. So like
Oh,
right now
okay.
I'm just
Oh,
up
it's only 8 hours
trading.
ahead.
I'm
Okay.
just up back testing. I'm a trader, so like I'm just up back testing right now, doing my strategy, and
Oh, wait,
inshallah,
you
like,
like you trade stocks or what? Or crypto
nah,
or
forex trading, forex
forex
trading.
trading? All right. Well, hey, you know, thank you for joining. Yeah, I stream. I'll stream like 2 3 times a week. I also make content. Um, you know, within like, you know, theology, specifically like looking at the Bible and the Quran. I have another video coming out about evolution and how there's a framework within the Quran for evolution and like the Big Bang theory. So that'll be a fun video. It'll be a long one, but
Yeah,
I'm excited to post that
I'm
too.
just.
But go ahead.
And if you don't mind me saying,
Yeah.
guys, I do post YouTube videos as well on my channel. Please show me support. And if not, and it's fine, may God continue to guide you all. Michael, I hope, inshallah, may Allah guide your heart to Islam. And I'll be praying for you, my brother. And it's nothing but love for you, Michael, and any other person who's criticizing us. Because at the end of the day, the hate is literally making Max more famous. He's getting more viewers on his stream. So thank you so much, like, for the.
It is, you know, Allah is the best of planners. Allah Azza wa Jal. And you know, the Sheikh that I was watching earlier, he had some funny thing about bad press is good press at the end of the day. In one of his other videos, which is funny. But yeah, I mean, I'm just here to, you know, explain why Islam, you know, works for me, why I find it to be the truth. You know, I can only share as much as I can to the best of my knowledge, and you know, I'm not here to debate or ridicule anyone because I think there's too much of that on
100%,
YouTube.
bro.
But thank you, bro. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate your time.
No, inshallah, bro. Have a wonderful
Yeah,
day,
you
bro.
too, inshallah. Talk soon and join whenever
Inshallah.
you want again.
No worries, bro.
Yeah.
That's fine, bro. Have a wonderful day, and inshallah, bro, Allah increases your knowledge, and I'll see you in Jannah soon, inshallah.
Inshallah, baby. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yeah. Have a good day. All right. So yeah, if anyone wants to join, happy. Like I said, Michael, I've posted the Discord 100 times, so you're more than welcome to join. But yeah, we are gonna watch. I know Hash wants to watch something here soon. We'll probably have to save that for tomorrow. We are gonna watch the scientific, this one about the scientific mistakes in the Quran, and so maybe I learned something. Maybe I have my my answers for it, and if anything, I can also show, you know, some Quranic verses.
Apostate prophet. I talked a lot about how Islam is morally unacceptable because it reduces human dignity to very low levels and is completely contrary and incompatible with the rights and freedoms of humans. But that's not the only thing that makes Islam a bad idea.
And again, this is a very presentist type of view. Are you on the Discord? So there's a live stream chat, Michael, that I'm in. So join. If you see on the live stream chat, let me see. Yeah. So Michael, I see that you're in the chat. Hop into the voice channel below it. And I'll bring you on. There's literally, you see the general Yap channel, and then you see a live stream channel. It couldn't be any closer. So once you're in here, I'll let you come join. But we'll watch this till.
There are major logical and scientific issues in the Quran that claims to be the unquestionable, unchangeable, perfect word of an almighty God, Allah. When you are a Muslim...
And then also, again, I'll find the verse now, but let's see. But when it comes to people saying that it's the perfect word and that it's like 100% verbatim when it comes to like what any of the stories, a lot of when it comes to the clearest detail, most of it is about the stories of the prophets. When there's vague detail, that is for people, and that is for, you know, as the world continues and evolves, it's for people to make those claims and to search out the truth. It wasn't supposed to be a perfect book in terms of the different scientific miracles and whatnot. You know, it never claimed to be a scientific book.
As I used to be, you learn that Islam is perfect and that the Quran is superior to everything. Any idea, any observation, any evidence. Therefore, when the Quran contradicts obviously with something very clear that we observe, people who believe in this religion go on and either reject commonly accepted evidence, or they suddenly change their interpretations of the Quran and imply that the Quran knew all of these newfound facts 1,400 years ago. And somehow Allah gave the infidels the chance to discover all of these things. Let me go on and show you a lot of...
Again, you know, Allah sends messengers to people who do not believe. This is not unique to Islam.
Things that are either completely false or just weird in the Quran. Muslims pass around this one thing so often, that Allah created every living thing in pairs. And I also want to combine this with my second point, that every living thing, every animal, anything that lives, creates communities.
Yeah, someone in the chat wanted me to watch this.
We know by now in the 21st century that that is absolutely not true. There are enough living beings, enough animals that don't come in pairs and that also don't live in society.
All right, so we have Mike. We're gonna bring him on stage. All right, Mike, are you here? Can you hear me?
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you for your patience. All right, guys, we have another, so calling you Mike is fine. Is that good?
Yeah, Mike's fine.
So Mike, do you have a religion?
No, I'm an atheist.
You're an atheist. Okay, great. Welcome. You're my first atheist in the chat. And so, what is the topic that you wanted to discuss?
Well, earlier you were talking about the age of Aisha, obviously.
Correct.
And you talked about, presentism or, social norms and that. My argument isn't that Muhammad was necessarily doing anything wrong, but that if Allah is the all-knowing God, he should have told his last prophet, don't set this example. There's all sorts of issues with children, 9-year-old girls getting pregnant, obstetric fistula, death in childbirth is greatly increased under the age of 16. So there's all sorts of biological reasons not to marry children. And somebody in your chat said, well, you went from childhood to adulthood at, the onset of puberty. They didn't say that, but that was, like Game of Thrones. When you have your first blood, mother says, I should put a baby in you.
For sure.
But you would think that an all-knowing God would know better and say, I'm not sure why he made his creation this way, that puberty can, you have, what's this called? Precocious puberty. I mean, there's like girls as young as 4 can start to menstruate, or even younger. In fact, the youngest child ever to give birth was Lima Peru, 1932. She was 5 when she gave birth. She got pregnant at age 4.
Yeah, we gotta get the pitchforks then, right?
What's that?
I said we gotta get the pitchforks then, right? Is that what you would say?
Well, she never told anyone who the father was. They think it was one of her uncles. But again, it's very dangerous for
sure.
For a girl to carry a pregnancy to term.
For sure.
When the pelvis isn't fully developed, you get all sorts of issues.
Hash, we'll watch this soon. Sorry, I have a friend in the chat. We'll watch the video for sure, 1000%. Maybe when you're back. Is there anything else you want to discuss about this topic before I make?
No, I'll let you get on to someone else. I get a life, Michael. I love to chat though. Muslims are great.
Yeah.
I have several Muslims making dua for me to be guided, and if I refuse, for my back to be broken and for me to be possessed by jinn. John Fontaine on Hamza's The Arena, episode 60. If anybody wants to watch it, it's pretty funny. At 53:20, he says they'll ask Allah to possess me with a shaitan.
For sure. So don't worry, I won't pray negatively for you. But yeah, so your statement is, and so by the way, I'm going to come at this statement purely from an opinionated stance, right? I just want to let you know that, firstly, this is truly from my own opinion. This is not based in Islam. This is not based in theology. This is just what I mean, some of my points will be based in theology, but this is just what I would believe. But again, Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. So your topic is that, and then please, you can, when I finish speaking, you can then say your point, and then I'll thank you for joining. But your point is, if Allah is the Almighty, He's the All-Knowing, then why would He allow for this to happen, right? Why would He allow His messenger to do this? And so that's a good point. And actually I thought about this for a very long time. Now we need to look at all of the and again, this is my theological claim here. We need to look at all of the prophets, right? We can look at Moses, for example, who before he became a prophet, he killed a man, which, that's one of the worst things that you can do, is kill someone. Specifically in the Quran, it says that killing one person is like killing all people, right? But Allah still chose him to be the essentially the first quote unquote main messenger who would bring down scripture, and that was Moses. Then we have David, who, biblically speaking, was like a warlord. I'm assuming also Quranically speaking, but he was like a warlord in a sense. Solomon, biblically speaking, had 1,000 wives, right? So having these type of, I guess, quote unquote, errors, sins, mistakes, however you want to categorize it from a theological perspective, is not unique for any of the messengers or the prophets. Now we go on to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, right? And when it comes to the marriage of Aisha, that's something that I don't think, people in present time would accept, right? Obviously, for obvious reasons. I don't think that's people would forgive that. And people might even say that that person deserves jail time in modern society, which I would also agree. Now, obviously, if we look at the historical context, it's something that happened for 1,300 years. But again, I'm trying to use this argument as what's happening in present time. Now, could you ever forgive someone who killed someone, is the question. Well, Allah Azza wa Jal could, right? Could you ever forgive someone who is a warlord? Allah Azza wa Jal could, right? Could you forgive someone who had 1,000 wives? Allah Azza wa Jal could, right? Even Allah will forgive, if you come with him with a mountain or an earth-sized fill of sin, he will come back with an earth-sized fill of forgiveness. And so even the lonely, horrible person who made a really bad deed and did a really bad thing to a child in today's time, if he somehow came back with a full earth size full of repentance, Allah Azza wa Jal, who's better than me, would be able to forgive him. And so I wonder if that's potentially the reason. I don't know why, Allah would I guess mandate this situation here. But I think it's, that every messenger who came, pretty much all of them, again, I'm not going to say all of them, but some of them, most of them, had an issue. And, Noah in the Bible was a drunk. And so, again, if you came back to Allah with an earth-size fill of forgiveness, he is the most forgiving, and he's the most majestic and powerful. So that's what I guess would be our response to that.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we all know the story of the man who killed 99 people, and he asked the one monk if Allah would forgive him. The monk said no, so he killed that guy. Then he went on, and another monk said, no, Allah can forgive you, but go off to a better land than you're in. And supposedly Allah moved the earth to get him halfway there or something when the angel of death came to take him.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm not asking about forgiveness. I'm asking about basic biology.
Yeah,
The creator should know.
Sorry. Please forgive me.
A 9 or 10-year-old girl is greatly endangered when impregnated. Obviously, she'd have to be menstruating in order to become pregnant, but it seems like bad guidance to me. So that was my point. Thank you for letting me on.
Yep,
I appreciate
absolutely.
the time.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing, and I'm sorry I went to interject. Sorry, my ego came out for a second, but no, thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for coming on. You're more than welcome to come back on and share another point again. Is there anything you would like to add before you leave?
No, I'm good. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I can go on and on forever about
Sure,
Islam.
I'm sure we both can. But Michael, thank you. Please come back to my stream whenever you want. I know people are saying to ban you. And so, I as long as you're respectful to everyone and you make critical points, I have no issues with that. Just letting you know.
All right, sounds good.
Sweet.
Take it easy, Mac.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining. Okay, so yeah, I mean, look, I'll be completely fair, right? I understand the atheist point of view when it comes to this. Yeah, Hash, join my Discord. You can join my Discord. But this is when it comes down to Allah being the most merciful and the most forgiving. He knows best. And I understand people look at it from a presentism, biological point of view. I look at it from a historical context point of view, and I look at it from a point of view that any sin can be forgiven in today's time. And so, there's going to be differences in opinions on this, but, that's just, it's like I said, I think Allah is the most merciful and the most forgiving. So we do have a couple people. I do want to look at a couple comments before we bring on to the next person, who's been someone who's been very, into my chats. And so I'm going to bring him on now. All right, so the guy, I'm bringing you on stage. Join my Discord. Let me post it here. For you, Hash. Yeah, and Hash, happy to have you come speak and explain to me your truth on this. The guy, I invite you to speak if you want to come join. Yeah. Or Hash, if you want, I can call you as well on Discord. But the guy, I have invited you on stage if you want to come. Yeah. Yeah, I think Wolfgang just explained this perfectly. Allah did not legitimize child marriage, which is true. We have Quranic verses, I'm sure all of you have read. And it reflects the societal customs of the time, 100%. Yeah. All right, you're just listening. Okay, no worries. All right, Hash, are you online? So I can call you. I'll try giving you a call. Hash.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Hey, walaikum salam. Welcome. Good to hear from you, brother. How are you doing? How's your week?
Alhamdulillah, it's been good. It's been good. What about you?
Dude, good week. This was a good week. Shout out to America for celebrating. We already know the holidays, and we already know what we believe about.
Wait,
But it's a good time to get some sleep in. I can tell you that much.
yeah, do you celebrate Christmas?
No, of course not. No.
Alhamdulillah,
Yeah.
alhamdulillah.
No,
Okay,
but
okay,
it's just
nice.
good to take to when everyone else is, you can get some extra sleep.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So that was good. But yeah, bro. Thanks for joining. Thanks for always sending me messages and being positive as well. So yeah,
No
obviously
problem,
the floor is
man. No
yours.
problem.
What do you want to come talk to me about?
I want you to watch that poem I sent you of Ibn Qayyim rahmallah. Can you just watch it, please?
Yeah, we
Gonna
can
help
watch it.
you out.
We'll watch it together.
Yeah, watch it with it. Just watch it.
Yeah.
We've been here for all of it. Like the time when you really wanted to find that
see.
perfect thing.
Can you hear it, by the way?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, you can? Perfect. All right, sweet. Do you want to give some context to this? Like
This
for
poem?
Yeah, just for the listeners, right? Do you want to give some context to what we're watching here?
Yeah, it's this poem like it's written by Ibn Qayyim because the poem when Christians pretty sure he was in a debate and after this debate he went to write this poem for I'm pretty sure this poem nobody is able to answer this point till now.
Okay.
But that's what they claim. That's what the students of Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya claim that nobody till now has able to answer the poem. It's a very how do I say this? It's a very strong and wise poem.
Mm-hmm.
Ibn Qayyim is a very wise scholar himself. Any quote or any any poem you hear of him is very wise.
Okay.
He's a very good scholar. You should buy his books often. Study him.
All right. Yeah. Sure. And then can you give me some context about who wrote this poem as well, just for my own personal knowledge?
Yeah, I told you it's written by Ibn Qayyim. Yeah, he's a scholar of he's a student of Ibn Taymiyyah. Do you heard of Ibn Taymiyyah before?
No. I'll tell you right now, I'm terrible with names, and Islamic names are a little bit tougher for me too.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Ibn Taymiyyah he's a huge scholar of have you heard of Salafism or
Sufism? No.
It's basically following the Sahaba and the students of the Sahaba and their students.
Okay.
Following the righteous predecessors. So Ibn Taymiyyah, because when people were using philosophy and were diving into philosophy and was rejecting the divine revelation, and when there was a lot of innovations and shirk, and you know how Sufis, I don't know if you know Sufis, but
Yes.
a lot of basically a lot of innovations were getting into Islam, and it was a huge problem at the time. So Ibn Taymiyyah rose up and he wrote many refutations. He made refutations on Shias, he made refutations on Khawarij, Sufis, Christians. He made a whole book. He studied basically, that's what I said. He studied I told you if you can study the book called Response to the One Who Changed the Religion of Christ by Ibn Taymiyyah, and basically refuted the whole doctrine of Christianity.
Wow.
He studied it deeply. And Ibn Qayyim, the one who wrote this poem, is a student, okay? So yeah.
Okay.
And Ibn Qayyim himself is a very great scholar himself. He's very wise. Personally, one of my favorite scholars, I would say.
Okay. Great. So yeah, that's some context. Yeah, let's hop into it, and then you can let me know when to pause if you have anything that you want to share while the video goes.
No problem. No.
Yeah.
بعد المسيح لنا سؤال نريد جوابه ممن
All right, so this is a challenge, right? Worshippers of Christ, we have a question. Who wants to answer it? All right, we're starting out hot.
إذا مات الإله بصنع قوم
So when God died by the actions of people, they caused him to die, then what is this God?
أماتوه فما هذا الإله وهل أرضاه ما نالوا.
And did it please him what they did to him, then glad tidings to him, for they gained his pleasure.
منه فبشراهم إذا نالوا رضاه وإن سخط الذي فعلوه فيه فقوتهم إذا أوهت.
And so are they asking if Jesus was upset by what happened here?
Yep.
Yeah, okay,
yep.
That's what I thought.
وهل بقي الوجود بلا إله.
So it's like when he died, where did the human nature go and where did the God nature go according to Christians?
Yep.
Like that'd be the question here.
سميع يستجيب لمن دعاه وهل خلت الطباق السبع لما ثوى تحت التراب وقد علاه وهل خلت.
Which is, I mean, it's a question that I actually haven't seen answered yet. Is where did the two natures go? If he was a two-spirited individual, both human 100%, both God 100%.
العوالم من إله يدبرها وقد سمرات.
And also my question has been to Christians, like, how do you, like, what would be the actions that you do to thank him, right? Because we can only get into Jannah through the mercy of Allah, right? You can do as many good deeds that fill the universe.
Even the prophets, right? Even the Prophet Muhammad himself said he would enter Jannah just because of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even himself would enter the paradise because of Allah's mercy. So
100%. And that's exactly true. And so then it's like, but within that, we still pray 5 times a day. We still fast. We do Ramadan. We give 3% of our wealth to charity. What are the actions that the Christians do? Like, where does it say it in the New Testament? Like, these are the actions that you need to do to serve your God.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. I've met a lot of Christians, and I'm pretty sure there's a sect in Christianity in which they believe that if you just accept Jesus as God, no matter what you do, you would enter the paradise.
Yeah. I would tell you this for sure. I met casual Christians that 100% believe that. Which is
and
almost
that is
like,
just crazy.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that is just crazy to me. Like, cause how do you believe that you do nothing your whole life, you do bad deeds, and you don't even strive to be a better person, and you're telling me that you would enter paradise just because you believe Jesus is God? And that is just illogical to me.
I mean, it's like theological communism, right? Everyone gets the same plot of land in Jannah as long as they believe. Doesn't matter if they did good deeds or bad deeds. It's like, how does that make sense? How is that just in any way and fair?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because God is all about being just, right? God is all just. We all know that, and that is not just. That is unfair. You feel me?
100%. Yeah. I mean, even like I believe there's hadiths about this. Maybe I'm mistaken, or at least there's Islamic knowledge that even there'll be, the debts, quote unquote, the debts between animals are gonna be like fully like be judged, right? No debts will go unpaid, even if it's between animal and animal, before the new, life, the hereafter begins. All of that has to be paid.
Exactly.
All right, let's continue.
You have to be kind to animals as well. So yeah.
Yeah, truly, you have to. Everything's coming back. Every debt needs to be paid in full.
Yeah. So you know what? These also non-believers. I've met a lot of say that Muslims kill a lot of disbelievers. Those ISIS stuff.
Yeah.
I told them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, he says, if you take one life, as if you take the life of whole humanity. And you can't even take a life of an insect that isn't harmful, bro. So how are you telling me that Islam is all this when you can't even take a life of an animal or an insect that cannot harm you?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. No, I mean, and it's true, and it's like, I mean, it's particularly tough right now, and what you just said is really highlighted with what is going on in Nigeria specifically. People are really looking at that right now. When it's like, I was watching this video. I don't have the exact data behind it, but he was saying, and this is a white guy, a non-Muslim commentator, that was saying that there's been more Muslim deaths happening in Nigeria than
exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's not even Nigeria. Even in Syria, right? This Islamic State, these Khawarij of this Ummah, they have killed. If you actually look at the statistics, they have killed more Muslims than
Christians, for example.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Bro.
And the sad thing is, I mean, I can only talk about Nigeria since I have done some decent research into it. Is that it's all for oil ultimately, and America trying to control the oil supply and the oil prices. That's why they're using this front of terrorism when it's like, okay, like sure, is it ISIS?
Exactly.
But who is also what is the outcome of it as well, in terms of deaths, and also what is the political and economic gains that our current administration here in America is trying to do.
وكيف تخلت الأملاك
Let's finish the
عنه
poem.
بنصر.
What'd you say?
Let's finish the poem because
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I see. Wallah, nah, wait. Wallah, so whenever you stream, it's always on Fajr time. I have like 6 more minutes and then I have to go. Okay.
Okay. Oh yeah, let's finish this video. Yeah, we're close. All right. We'll just kind of just stop yapping. That's on me. That's on me.
هم وقد سمعوا بكاه وكيف أطاقت الخشبات حمل الإله الحق.
Yeah, so it's saying here like right that even the wood, like how could that even bear God?
يريد إليه حتى يخالطه ويلحقه أذاه وكيف تمكنت أيدي عداه وطالت حيث قد صف.
I mean, even biblically speaking, right, we look at the Bible and it's like, he was asking, the Father, quote unquote, to not forsake him on the cross.
Yeah.
رب سواه ويا عجبا لقبر ضم ربا وأعجب منه بطن قد حواه أقام هناك 9 من شهور.
Yeah, and then, like the caller I was talking to earlier was saying how, all three gods were loving each other in the beginning, but then it's like, so, God was, there's a Jesus God who was born, and then he was now born a second time into this life.
Okay, I want to mention one point. Okay, I
Yeah.
want to mention one point. You know how Christians just love to criticize Aisha's marriage, right?
Yep.
And this is not my point. I mean, I don't personally say it because Allah Subhanahu wa Taala in the Quran He says when you debate the Ahlul Kitab, the people of book, for example, Jews and Christians,
Yeah.
do it in the best manner.
Yes.
So whenever I don't debate, okay, I barely debate, but whenever I debate, I do it in the best manner. So because you often debate so much, so if somebody's pissing you off, right, mention this point to them, to Christians, right?
Mhm.
They know their God knew that he was going to become a baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he made himself a baby. I mean, I don't want to say it, but he made himself a baby just to touch a woman's breast. Because if you technically look at it, the God knew if he was a baby, he would just. I mean, he's God, right? He can just live without the mother's milk, right? If he wanted to, but he made himself suck a woman's breast, and that is a God sucking a woman's breast, and that's just ridiculous and crazy to me, and that's way worse than Aisha's marriage. Even if you look at this time, that your God is becoming a baby just to suck a woman's breast, like come on, this is ridiculous.
That
man.
is, and yeah, that is a pretty wild point. But when you do think about it, you're just like, okay, like that is
Yeah,
nuts.
it's a very that's crazy, and yeah,
Yeah.
there's no word.
But no, and also like, that's why I'm trying to build up this way of like, having people who want to come discuss, because I know it's YouTube, right? So it's entertainment, so people want to come and they want to just tell me, and they want to argue, but it's like I don't want to argue at all because ultimately it'll feed into ego, and I can see a lot like Muslim streamers and Christian streamers that their egos get a little bit inflated, unfortunately, when it's like there needs to be a better way at like, hey, like, handling and also representing the faith properly, and also a lot of that's come from like you sharing some messages with me too, so that's been
Yeah,
super helpful.
did you okay? If you also, I sent you how New Testament allows child marriages, right?
Yes.
If you want our refutation on the Aisha's marriage, you can just watch it. I will send you. It's very easy. You can just make those points, and they will not be able to answer them. You will comment. If you want it, let me know. I can send you. I have a refutation.
Yeah, you can send it. You can send it. I mean,
I got you. I got
yeah,
you.
send it to me. Just so I can learn. I do find this point like, like when atheists try to argue the point, I can understand it more from coming from them, because like they have a.
And you know how Christians
Yeah.
the Christians. I'm pretty sure. I heard Brother Shamsi when he was debating a Christian. He said, "You know how Christians believe if you're not Christians, you should be burned alive." They even mean Jews.
Mhm.
They even mean Jews. Muslims and Jews should be burned alive just because they're not Christians. I can't remember where I saw it. If I found it, I'll let you know.
Okay.
So you can use that too.
For sure. All right. I don't want you to be late for Fajr either.
Yeah. Let's just finish the video.
All right. Cool.
لازم ذاك هل هذا إله تعالى الله عن إفك النصارى سيسأل كلهم عما افتراه أعباد الصليب لأي معنى يعظم أو يقبح من رماه وهل تقضي العقول بغير كسر وإحراق له ولمن بغاه إذا ركب الإله عليه كرها وقد شدت لتسمير يداه فذاك المركب الملعون حقا فدسه لا تبسه إذ تراه يهان عليه رب الخلق طرا
وتعب. I mean, it's crucifixion was known as like one of the most humiliating things that could happen to a person back then.
فإنك من عداه فإن عظمته من أجل أن قد حوى رب العباد وقد علاه وقد فقد الصليب فإن رأينا له شكلا تذكرنا سنا.
Is this so? When it says and the cross is indeed lost, is it saying like the physical cross or just the idea of it?
I think it means the idea of it.
Okay.
فهلا للقبور سجدت طرا لضم القبر ربك في حشاه فيا عبد المسيح أفق فهذا بدايته وهذا منتهاه فيا عبد المسيح أفق فهذا بدايته وهذا منتهاه.
And that's also the next thing, right? Like just one quick thing about Revelation. I mean about the what's it called? The resurrection. So like so the argument is the Christian argument, the Bible argument is that the resurrection that happened on a specific day, right? Like just like for example, like in America we have Independence Day on the 4th of July, right? Every single year, right? Because that's when there was the like they released the Declaration of Independence, the document, 4th of July. So if we like but that means it happened on like now going back to the resurrection, it happened on a specific day, and then 3 days later he rose again. That's the biblical argument. Then why does Easter happen every other year? Like happens every other day. It changes every year. Like what's the deal? Like why does it always be changing? Didn't he die on this specific day, and he rose again on 3 days later? Like shouldn't it be on the same day every year?
Wait, yeah, and you do know that the Christmas they celebrate is not even the actual birth of Jesus.
No, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I have some joke. I kind of like when you say like the thing that you said earlier about Mary, like mine is like this one's kind of messed up. It's like the Trinity is is Jesus, Santa, and the Easter Bunny, right? But
I just got 2 minutes. Okay, I just want to mention one last thing.
Please do.
I just wanna like actually, first of all, you should be. I mean, it's my first time talking to a reward, right?
Oh, really?
And so I just want to let you know that you took a big step, right? A big step in your life.
100%.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just happy, bro. I'm just actually happy talking to a reward, and I would never achieve the the level that you achieved by just actually searching for the truth. And this is what I say to every Christian. It's what I actually say to every Christian. If you think you're born in a religion and you don't research about your religion, there's no point of you following that religion. Because once I've seen people, wallahi, the people who actually study religion, the Bible, they eventually become Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
That's most of the time. That's what happens. Because I have 3 more friends. I mean, I'm talking about. I know 3 more reverts that studied the Bible and they became Muslims.
Yeah, that's what happened with me.
Yeah. So I mean, you should. Alhamdulillah, Allah guided you.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
And huge respect for you, bro.
I can tell you this. Like the day I did my shahada, was March 6th, so it was during Ramadan last year, and like I was going back and forth between, well, I believed in God, but I wasn't firm on picking a religion. Like I was honestly for about like 4 months I was like, I'm gonna be both a Christian and a Muslim. Like I'm gonna go to church on Sundays, but then I'm gonna practice as a Muslim. Yeah, I was like, I'm just gonna do both because I just want to meet both. But then after a lot of time, I was like, you know what, Islam obviously makes the most sense to me, and even going
Yeah,
to
this is one of the miracles of Islam. It goes with your sound reasoning, and this is what Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, the God Himself, if He wanted to give us religion, He would never give us religion that would not make sense to us. He would always give us a religion that would go with sound reasoning. That's what I say to Christianity. If that's what I say to myself,
yeah,
even if Islam didn't came, right, even if there wasn't a final revelation came to Prophet Muhammad,
mm-hmm,
I would have never ever accepted Christianity because it doesn't go with the sound reasoning.
yeah,
The whole concept of a human being God and he died and rose, it just doesn't sit in my mind properly and just can't seem to comprehend the
for sure.
whole concept of Trinity. Even if I try to understand it, even if I study it, it was still deep in my heart. I would never deep accept it by my heart. You feel me?
Like if so, like I went to private Christian school as a kid, and as I got like 10, 11, 12 years old, I started to be like, you know what, like the whole idea of Jesus being God and God being God and the Holy Spirit being God, as you said, just it logically didn't sit right with me. But I didn't even know about Islam. But I'm a kid
Mhm.
in Western America, so I'm like, but and so I still believed in God, but it was hard for me to really accept Christianity as an ideology because it just logically didn't
Mhm.
make sense. Um,
Mhm.
and now if Christianity and if Christianity taught, and I know there's Unitarians out there, but if like the
Yeah.
whole of Christianity taught that Jesus was the Son of God and God was his own entity, then I would probably be like, that makes sense to me. But I know really right now, like, especially on YouTube, it's like you have to be a Trinitarian, or if you're not, then you're not a Christian. And that's like But then when I read the Quran for the first time, I was like, holy crap! This answered literally all of my questions I had when I was 12 years old.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
It answered
And
all
the
of my
Quran
questions.
itself is, when I read it, right, the Quran is, I mean, let's just say nothing can compare to the Quran. The book, I mean, if Prophet Muhammad, na'udhu billah, even if he was known as the biggest liar, and he came up with that book, I would still accept Islam. I mean, let's look at the Quran, bro. You just can't tell me that book is something else.
And that's the
Read
thing.
it.
What was he called before he wasn't even a prophet? He was called Al
The
Amin.
Sadiq, yup,
Yeah. And so
he was called the truthful.
the trustworthy one. And so, all right,
Yeah.
I don't want you to be late for Fajr. I'm also late
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah,
Maghrib
you're right.
now for myself because we can't go all
Okay.
day. But all
Yeah,
right,
I'm before you go, I
yeah,
want to talk to you on one more matter.
please,
Not right now, not right now,
another
later.
time.
It's a little bit long, and yeah, that's pretty much it,
Yeah,
bro.
just message me. We can chat whenever, off stream,
I got
on stream, whenever you want. Happy to always
you.
chat.
Yup,
Yeah,
I
thank
got
you
you.
for being with me on this
Problem, bro.
journey, and hopefully it will be a long one together, inshallah.
I love it.
And so,
Assalamu alaikum wa
yeah, walaikum salam. Talk to you soon. All right, so yeah, hopefully, first of all, shout out to Hash. He's been someone who's been following my channel since literally the beginning, which, I mean, it's the beginning of this uprising. The past, just month, it's been nuts to see how much growth I've had, and it's from all of you guys who are watching right now. And so, I am gonna unstream here, Steve. I'm sorry we didn't get to your video. This will be the first video I will watch next stream. It'll probably be on Monday this week. But again, I just want to just thank everyone who has been watching all of my streams this month. I mean, the growth has been incredible. I haven't really experienced anything like this in my life. I really didn't think it would happen this quick or anything. And then yeah, Sif, we'll watch what make sure to send it to me as well. But for next stream. But again, it's been awesome to chat with everyone. It's been awesome to hopefully bring more people on stage, atheist, Christian, Muslim. For those who want to have that more debate, like I said, we'll have a proper way of trying to keep it very civil to the best of my ability, and to again be respectful to the best of my ability as well. But again, I just want to thank everyone. It's been super great. And I've been learning so much. I know there's a lot more for me to learn. I know I don't have the perfect arguments for everything. I know, like, I'm not gonna have the perfect rebuttal back every time when it comes to. I know Steve with the whole scientific errors within the Quran, which I'm happy to watch the next video. But again, I just wanted to just give a massive thank you to everyone. And, you know, I'm going to keep, you know, trying to search for knowledge, search for the truth. This is my religion at the end of the day. I am a Muslim. Inshallah, I will die as a Muslim. La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. This is my faith. And there's no going back to Christianity. There's no not believing in God for me. This is my path. And so forever who wants to, you know, come discuss their opinions, happy to. But yeah, there's no way my mind will ever be changed. And so, again, thank you guys for all watching. I'll talk to you guys. Monday will be my next stream, inshallah. I also have a video coming out about the framework of evolution and the Big Bang Theory, and the creation of man within all the different religions, the main 5 religions. That will be out sometime next week as well. And so that will be a cool video. And yeah, if you guys have any ideas for me, if you guys want to have me watch any videos, I know I'm really slow at watching videos on these streams, so I get so many messages and I like to talk to you guys. But that's why I said, please come join me in my Discord. My Discord is in my description on my YouTube channel. And it's, I don't actually, hold on. Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel of where to join my Discord, and I'm happy to have anyone join. So if you want to come talk to me directly, please join my Discord, and everyone and anyone is allowed to come join. So thank you guys again. I'm going to hop off now because I have to go pray Maghrib, and I look forward to talking to you guys all soon.